It is 7 o'clock. I will call this meeting to order of the regular Housing and Redevelopment Authority meeting of April 21st, 2025. We will start with our open forum. Seeing as there is no one here to participate in open forum, is there any pre-comments? No? Seeing none? Okay. You can always refer to the HRA agenda and minutes webpage for additional way to submit comments, should you wish to do so. That'll take us to our first approval of the minutes of the regular Housing and Redevelopment Authority meeting of March 17th, 2025. Is there a motion for approval?
I'll make a motion for approval.
I'll second.
It has been moved and seconded. Is there any comments or changes? Seeing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes have been approved. Taking us to item number 1, approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any comments, changes? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? The agenda has been approved. Item number 2, the consent calendar. I'll hand it over to Executive Director Paleman.
Thank you, Chair Vries-Daniels, members of the board. The consent calendar contains several separate items which are acted upon by the HRA in one motion. Once the consent calendar has been approved, the individual items and recommended actions have also been approved. No further HRA action on these items is necessary. However, any HRA commissioner may request that an item be removed from the consent calendar and placed on the regular agenda for HRA discussion and action. All items listed on the consent calendar are recommended for approval. There's just a single item on your consent calendar tonight. It is consideration of an amended contract for private redevelopment with Hempel Real Estate, providing financial assistance toward the acquisition and preservation of 3 affordable rental communities. Happy to answer any questions on the consent calendar. Otherwise, I submit this item for your approval.
Okay. Is there a motion for approval or moving for discussion?
I have a question. Do you want me to wait until after it's been moved?
No, ask your question now. If there's a motion, we're not going to talk about it.
So, I notice it says in the executive summary that it has to be approved by the executive director and the HRA attorney for the loan amounts and administrative changes, but then in the resolution it talks about the chair also has to approve it. So I'm assuming all 3 people have you guys would do the technical stuff, the attorney and the executive director, but the chair would also have to sign off on everything?
That's correct. The chair does have to sign the contracts when they are approved in final form. Yes.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to make sure I understood the process.
Is there a motion for approval?
I move the consent calendar.
I'll second it.
It has been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The consent calendar has been approved. Taking us to item number 4, Executive Director Paleman.
Thank you. The Housing and Redevelopment Authority approved a preliminary development agreement with J.O. Companies for the redevelopment of HRA-owned property at 6501 and 6525 Penn Avenue South. The developer is proposing to build 42 units of affordable multifamily housing on this site. Initial environmental investigation by the HRA when it purchased the property indicated the presence of contaminated soils from past auto uses. Further testing by the developer has identified the extent of the petroleum contamination in the soil and also found significant asbestos in the 6525 Penn Avenue South building, both of which need to be removed before redevelopment can proceed. The current cost estimate for the cleanup is approximately $299,000. The developer is planning to apply to Hennepin County for an Environmental Response Fund grant and is asking the HRA to apply to the Metropolitan Council for a tax-based revitalization account grant to cover the costs. They plan to request half of the total cost from each grant fund. The resolutions, however, are written to authorize up to the total amount of $299,119 from each grant source in the event that the cost estimate increases. And I'll just mention that normally this would have been a consent calendar item. We regularly approve and encourage developers to seek funds from other sources to help with their projects. We're presenting it tonight because it gave me an opportunity to let you know that the project is moving forward. Things are moving along. There are still a number of approvals needed. The HRA will need to approve a final development contract. The land use approvals will need to come through. They are in for review now and expected to go before the Planning Commission and Council in the coming months. And that is why we're presenting to you, as opposed to just placing this on your consent calendar. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Anyone have any questions, or is there a motion?
Sure.
Yes.
Just out of curiosity, the tax-based revitalization account that we'd be applying to, is there a limit on how many properties the city can apply for, or is there any like opportunity cost in us supporting this grant?
It's a great question, Commissioner Hayford O'Leary. I don't believe there is. I believe this is a fund that generally has a lot of funds available, and generally they are looking for projects. I can double check on that, but I don't believe it would prevent us from applying for funds for any other project.
Okay, thanks. And then also just a procedural question, do these need to be separate motions, or can we make a motion for both items together?
I believe you can make the motion for both items together.
Okay, I'll go ahead and do that. I move both items 1 and 2 with the staff recommendation to approve those resolutions.
Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
It has been moved and seconded. Any comments, questions, concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motions have been passed. It takes us to item number 5, HRA discussion items. Are there any HRA discussion items? Yes, go ahead.
I will just share briefly, because we discussed our agenda order at the last meeting, and I will just share that the council also discussed that, and at least for the council meetings, our direction was to move agenda approval to the very top, in our case, after the Pledge of Allegiance. But so I don't know if we would have a separate process to change ours, but if the reason was matching council, the council agenda will change to agenda approval first.
Great. Thank you for the update. I think that'll be good to have that move up earlier. Anything else? All right. Item number 6, Executive Director's report.
Thank you. I don't have a report tonight.
Okay. Item number 7, claims. Is there a motion to approve claims?
I make a motion to approve claims.
I'll second that.
It has been moved and seconded. Any comments, questions, concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Claims have been approved. And that takes us to adjournment. Thank you, everyone.